Shoo. Trying to hit that note. You remember that note?
Man. What you said?
Oh, man. 1995.
1995. What's the number? Another down with the funky drummer. Brother, get wicked. Come on, get with it.
It's another edition of Interlude Section Presents Talk on Tuesdays. And man, oh man, we got some things we're going to be talking about on tonight, but we are great. Me and Coach Tony are here to get you guys going. But of course, we're going to get started right after this. It's another edition of Interlude Section Presents Talk on Tuesdays, and we are back in the building after having a great, I want to say, kickoff to the week. And of course, I want to make sure that I recognize the new version of Coach Tony in blue.
Man, baby blue
he
said
looks
it.
so good in blue. Doesn't he look good in blue?
I didn't even know I looked that good in blue. I was like, man, match my eyes. Man, that was chilling.
Yeah, so that is what I'm talking about. It's looking good in blue. And of course, we want to let you guys know about the book, A DJ Saved My Life. It's the personal memoir of how I started the podcast, as well as giving you guys the ABC of doing a podcast. And so, of course, the print copy is available.
Man, I love it. I think I'm going to start working on my book, Val. I think I'm going to start.
That's right. My man's in them. Get started on your book.
Yeah. Because I got a lot of folks up in there as my man's in them. You know, we come from a long way.
Exactly. I love it. And of course,
Cal,
you guys.
Cal in the house.
And you guys can, to order the print copy, please go to purelighthouse.media.com. I like how intelligent I look in that pitch. And of course, Key Spot is our affiliate sponsor. You can connect, share, and grow your small business. We appreciate Cynthia McAllister. You can join for just $15 a month, but you could try it out for free. Go to keyspot.app.com/free. And then, of course, Patreon. That's where we get some backstage looks of how things look. I've been getting some more things up and running on Patreon. So go to patreon.com/interludes. And of course, you can take care of some things. And of course, there's Mr. Handsome. There's Mr. Coach Tony.
QR code, man. Y'all pull up on me on the IGZ. Go ahead and just put it all in right now at the Pull Up Podcast Show. Connect with your boy. And by the way, if you got something to talk about, pull up on me. You know how we do.
I know. Just
up. Man, Walter Johnson pulled up on me last night. Got nothing but kudos from everybody today. Appreciate the love. Great show. Ian, I had a lot of people today, Val, even said they learned a lot. Not only from the show, but just from the conversation with how Walter got there and the trials and tribulations that he went through, and then the mindset he had, because he knew he was there to change the culture, right? Not just Black students, but the culture. And man, it was great interview. Told him today nothing but love.
Oh, wonderful. That's what I'm talking about. And of course, I forget that I have a personal IG and I have the business one. So make sure that you follow.
We're getting all that, Val. You gotta know that. Come on now.
So it's at Val the Voice Johnson. And then there's interludes underscore pure. Interludes underscore podcast. I have to remember that. Someone said, Why aren't you promoting both?" And I'm like, yeah, I need to make sure that I do that. Good evening, Ashley, representing Brooklyn. How are you on this evening?
Brooklyn in the house. That's how they say that.
Brooklyn in the house. That's what I'm talking about. And I have to say, before we get started, and I wanted to make sure that I get into it, is we have been talking about making sure that I teach people how to get their podcasts going. And I've brought on some people to help me write content for our Pure Lighthouse Media website. And I was really excited about that. And I was like, I want to make sure that I get a chance to talk about that. I'm going to talk about that in a few seconds because I want to talk about two people that left us. Diane Keaton. I'll talk about her toward the end of the show, but definitely I wanted to mention this gentleman. But before I do that, let me stop real quick. So I looked in my CD collection and I found this.
For sure. I got that in the album.
Yeah. Yeah. And
what's your favorite song?
Okay. Now this is the first CD that came out from D'Angelo. I was such a huge fan of his. I definitely want to say Lady was one of my favorites.
I like
Brown
Lady.
Definitely. And
My favorite.
Cruising, I'm not a big fan of.
Cruising was cool.
He remade the song from Smokey Robinson.
Mm-hmm.
One of the titles I can't say.
which is what?
We're not saying it. We're not saying it. I'm not saying it. It just had a good little rhythm to it. And then All Right was good too. That was another one of my favorites. But if I was to say my favorite was Lady from this one.
I like Lady. But Brown Sugar was mine. The only reason why, because as a DJ, that Brown Sugar was kind of like that in between. It could go to a stepper set that if I'm jamming some Mary J. R. Kelly, right, in that type of groove, soul child music, soul child, right, some Usher in that middle, it could lay in that groove. Then it could also lay back if I'm throwing on some slow jams. I want to speed it up a little bit, man. So I just love that cut. But the brother at the end of the day, gone far too long, 51 years old.
Yeah, and I think I have to mention this because him and Angie Stone, I believe, have a son together.
Mm-hmm.
And Angie Stone left us through a horrific car accident in March. You know, but
back home to Atlanta.
Exactly. So I think he was dealing with this cancer battle privately, and in the same way that we lost Chadwick Boseman, I just kind of feel like it's too soon, and you know, it just hurts me that that we lost both Diane Keaton as well as D'Angelo. I was really putting the things together for our show, and then it came across someone texted me, and then I said, no, let me confirm this. And then when I confirmed his passing, I was like, but that's the Brown Sugar man. That's the Lady man. That's the Untitled. Remember How Does It Feel?
Exactly.
Oh my gosh. I mean, so when I think about my Generation X, and I think about our neo soul, like we came up with a whole new genre of music. It was like I like to call it the subset of R&B, and D'Angelo was like right there with Erykah Badu, right there with Maxwell, right there with a slew of other folks. The Family was not the Family Stone. I can't think of their name. Music Soul Child was a little bit later. Jill Scott was around that same time.
I'll say it's
It
fantasy.
was
That was old. That was Sliding Family. That was back in the 70s.
exactly, yeah. I'm thinking about that, but here's the thing: D'Angelo recorded, I think, only 2 to 3 albums. I don't think he recorded that much,
Yeah, he didn't.
and
He didn't. Not many at all. And what's the brother Val? They kind of remind. They look like brothers. The dude was in the Cadillac. Ro James. He reminds me so much of Ro James. I love Ro James.
oh, Ro James, the new dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He reminded me when Ro James hit the set. I thought he was a playoff of D'Angelo. He, like this black and white you got. D'Angelo did a lot of videos in black and white, shoots, movies, shots, pictures, all that. And Ro James the same way. And they both had a laid back style. So I mean, it was, and I always wondered after that third album why he didn't come back, because right now, unfortunately, with the hip hop being down, R&B really is kind of keeping things rolling. This is why the old school bands are back touring, and they killing it. They're absolutely killing it. And I kept wondering why, when I saw Usher and all these other guys, Music Soul Child, John Legend, I didn't see D'Angelo pop up. It's because he was sick.
Yeah. And here's the thing. When you are someone that performs and can, number one, write your own music, he was good on keys. I think he also played bass. He played guitar. Like there was he learned a lot of instruments, and I think a lot of it was self-taught. But we found out, unfortunately, that he lost his battle to pancreatic cancer, and then unfortunately, he, I'm just thinking 7 months. I'm wondering, because I know him and Angie Stone weren't together, but they shared a son, and I'm really feeling for the kid. Because I know that son is grown, but it's to lose both of your parents within the year. It's got to be heartbreaking.
A few months.
Got to be, right?
A few months apart.
It's 7 months. It's 7 months apart. She passed in March, and it's October. That's 7 months. Yeah. So prayers go up for their family, and especially the children of D'Angelo, because this is their dad. We know him as this talented musician and Grammy Award winning artist, but his kids know him as dad, and it hurts, especially when you're going through sickness and when you get that diagnosis, you've been diagnosed with cancer, and you kind of want to mentally prepare for that person's passing, but then you think, no, you can beat it. But I don't know how things were going on and behind the scenes, but rest well, King. I get it too.
I totally get it. I'm just saying I get it because I've been down that road. My guy, rest in peace, Carl Harris, Chicago, West Side, Maywood. I never forget, we got that call. We was here with the family, and I had moved to Nashville, and he found out that I was real close with the Titans. And he was like, man, my boy is Javon Curse. I'm like, man, I know the freak. He's like, get the hell out of here. I was like, yeah, man, I'm tight with the freak. I like tight like house. I mean, like, go to his house. I'm at his house like all the time. We like be kicking it. He said, man, cool out. So call Freak up and never know he was this sick. He said, I just want to meet him. And they drive him down, comes to Nashville, and it was the weekend of his lifetime. We hanging out with Freak at the crib. He autographs a pair of 15 Reebok cleats and autographed the J Curse logo to give it to him. And he also gave me a pair of Timbo boots, which I still got today. I wear them every year around his anniversary of passing. And the doorbell rings, Val, and Freak go to the door. He was like, y'all up on that Miami music? I'm like, yeah. He was like, how deep? I was like, see, real deep. what are you talking about? And in walks Trick Daddy and Trina on the way to Miami.
Whoa.
So we not only kick it with Freak, but we meet Trick Daddy and Trina. And my brother was like, lost his mind. I was just glad he didn't kick over and die right there, you know. And it made his world. And it was Labor Day weekend, I never forget. And prior to the Titans kicking off football season. And he gets back home, and between Labor Day and Thanksgiving, he was gone.
Wow.
So,
yeah, just gone too soon, and it's a matter of making sure that you get checked all the time, and that's kind of the thing. Now I'm gonna do a hard pivot and get to some of the things regarding starting your podcast, and I definitely want to mention this because when Coach Tony came to me a while back and said, you know, Val, I want to start my own podcast. And I was thinking, okay, all right, what do you want to talk about? It's going to be a sports podcast. I'm a coach. That's what we're going to be talking about. I'm like, all right, bet. And then a lot of people, I had this article written, The Ultimate Podcast Pre-Launch Checklists for Beginners. And it is currently living in the space of purelighthouse.media.com. And I wanted to just kind of give kind of a little bit of a breakdown of what's covered, because when you're trying to start your podcast, you need to know what your genre is. Would you agree with that, Coach?
yeah, because y'all got it easy because Val whooped my ass doing that. What you going to talk about? What you going to do? What you going to do? What you going to say? How we going to lay it out? I need a format. I need to know exactly what you're talking about, what the topic going to be, who going to be the guest. We ain't going to have no guests. You going to talk to yourself. You ain't going to talk to yourself. I'm like, damn. So I had some homework. I didn't have this guardrails up on the highway. I was turning curves with no guardrail.
If you're gonna start your own podcast, I don't know if I was that bad. That's a little.
Hey,
rough.
but it was
That's
good.
a little rough.
To pull up his roller.
Okay.
Because if you didn't take me through the grind, you know what I mean? And I think you did that because you knew I could take it. But you took me through the grind, and I think it made both of us better persons because after that, you came back and launched How to Start Your Podcast.
Yeah, exactly. I wanted to make sure that I did that. But number one, in starting your podcast, you got to make sure that you come up with your niche and your unique value. For Coach Tony, his unique value is that he is a coach and he loves talking sports. If you talk to Tony, wait a minute, let me stop sharing for a second. You talk to Tony. I gotta do this real quick. You talk to Tony and you want to know exactly which teams to,
So purposes only.
For promotional purposes only. You lean on Coach, him right there, and he'll be able to say, based on what I know about the players and what I've seen, I'm able to let you know who could win. But that's beside the point.
As I picked off a big one last night doing a pull-up, I had them Bears winning in Washington last night. Thank you, Woody. We got you from San Fran, but you kicked that field goal with 3 seconds on the clock to avenge a loss last year. Hail Mary in end zone, if you remember that, Val.
Mm-hmm. I remember that. And I'm so proud of our Bears. I've been praying for them to win, but that's neither here or there. Before you plug in your microphone, and this is what I told Coach, and you hit the button to record, you need to get real clear about why you want to start this podcast. Coach wanted to share and have on other either athletic directors, coaches, and other people that have been either former or current players.
Correct.
In football, basketball, tennis,
Baseball,
name it.
Yep.
Baseball. We've had them all. We've had some very talented people come through the Pull Up Podcast show, and it's because Coach Tony was very clear on step one, concept development, define your niche and your unique value. And Coach, you have a unique value. Would you agree?
Man, I do. And I really think that I can kind of credit all that to you because I remember you telling me, hey, what you need to do is get out in front. So once you figure out and determine what you're going to do, and let's talk about the topics. And then once I found out my topic, and then me being a coach, it made it easy. Then you said, hey, let's make sure we stay 2 to 3 or 3 to 4 guests ahead of schedule, just in case someone cancels, something happened, we got to move a show around and all that. And once I started doing that, it was cool. And that first season, I was calling people up, trying to get people on. They were like, Tony, who? Oh, bye. Hang the phone up.
Oh, no, that was happening to you?
Oh, yeah. But after that first year, they were like, hey, man, why ain't you have me on the podcast? Now, who is this? I was hanging up on them because we had to establish some ground. But it was cool because, you got to go down that rough path. And as Val is mentioning, the niche, what you want to talk about, and then just understand. The other piece is if you're going to have people on your podcast, then you need to figure out how you're going to go about trying to get them to get on the show. Because sometimes that's work within itself. And Val will tell you, I've chased a lot of my guests over a year, like literally over 13, 14 months to get on my show, 8 months, 9 months, especially the big guests. I think the biggest guest I've chased that was probably the shortest time period may have been like 45 to 60 days.
Yeah.
So it's easy.
Number 2 is branding. Create a look or sound that stands out. One of the testimonies that I have for producing the Pull Up Podcast show was that Coach had in mind. I asked him, I says, we need to come up with an original song or an original sound for your platform. Right. I was blessed because my cousin gave me the theme music that I currently use today. And this was just sitting on his computer, but it's original and I never have to worry about it being sued. But the fun part about creating a look and a sound that stands out is that Coach told me, these are my colors. I'm a Kappa. So these are the colors I like in here. Also, don't worry about it. You want me to come up with a theme song? I got you.
Gotcha.
And what happened with that after that, Coach?
Man, it was like, I want the work. I started to sit up, and I never forget when you and I were talking about, you kept talking about, okay, Coach, it's the pull up. So, what are you talking about? You talking about pull up jump shot, pull up this and that. And I never forget telling you, I said, well, Val, believe it or not, has nothing to do with basketball. It was basically from my son and the kids around me. They were like, at the time, the language was, the young kids were like, man, you want to get at me, man? Pull up on me. So I was like, So now I can catch the young kids. And so when I started to put the song together, I reached out to my nephew. For those that don't know, his name is Demetrius Jarman, aka Young Farrah, and my boy Tizone, which is a famous recording writer, and Kenny P out of Atlanta, straight up with the beats, all Chicago guys now living in Atlanta. So I said, man, I had an idea of what I wanted to do. So one day they just dropped me a lot of beats, Val. And I remember telling you were like, what are you doing? I was like, Val, I'm in the studio. You're like, studio? I'm like, it's midnight. It was crazy because these dudes, 10 o'clock, 11, 12 o'clock, they was sending me, man, check this out, Coach. And one day I'm sitting in, and then I'm with, of all people, Skylar, my granddaughter. And she's in the car. I'm like, it's the Pull Up Podcast. It's the Pull Up Podcast. And I had no idea what I was doing. And then she just started saying, the Pull Up Podcast, it's the Pull Up Podcast. I said, wait a minute. So then I get the beat. They send me the beat. And I started putting it together. And next thing you know, I'm like, okay. And then they say, well, okay, look at your show and how can we incorporate everybody? I'm like, well, Val, okay, wait a minute, Val, that's the voice that you hear all the time. And then when she's talking to me, of course, I got Kay Sprinkles in the back engineering a lot of stuff for both shows, doing something. And of course, me, I had the sports show. So I said, I want to incorporate interludes, Talk on Tuesday, and what we got going on. And then I started to put the lyrics together, and man, it just became a hit. And when they dropped their hit and put it all together and I let them do it, I get people that come on the show now, Val, say, I stay on the show at the end of the show just to listen to the track. Love it.
I know. So I think that's what's most important, that you're able to do that, and you come up with that branding, the colors you like to use. You've already established what niche you want to do, and then some people, you want to start with your name, choose something that's easy to remember. Coach Tony is easy for me to remember. And then, of course, for myself, I went on a couple of branding looks. And so I came up with this concept of, okay, well, let me see what colors work for Coach. And it was about making sure that I had something that would be, and I'm looking for it. I'm looking for it right now. Here we go. I wanted to make sure that I found the colors and the schemes that would work best for Coach. And for him, it was black, white, red. This is a little bit of my color in here,
Yeah.
but I
Plus,
went
I'm a
to
Bulls fan, and you and I were both big Bulls fans.
we were both Bulls fans. Yes,
It was perfect
exactly.
because
And then
that's the
he gave
exact same Bulls colors, red, black, and white.
right, and you gave me a picture of you standing against something. It was
It's a billboard at school, in my
mhm.
locker room, in the gymnasium, and I loved how you cut that background out. I was like, that's perfect.
Yeah. So I want to make sure that I had that. And then when he gave me the song, and I think I got the song maybe about a month
We launched.
before we launched, and I was scrambling to make sure that I edited something that was to the rhythm, to the beat, to the cadence of what we had. And
Mhm.
so when you are branding, it's important in that. And then the last step I want to talk about, and there's 6 of them, but I'm gonna stop at 3. Your tech setup, get the right tools. For myself, Coach had been using his cell phone for a camera to record, and I've now been using my camera. I was using a much bigger camera that I used to take photos with, but setting up your tech, sometimes it could be as simple as making sure that you have headphones, a regular microphone, something that's a little bit different that you can connect to your computer. And then if you're thinking about recording software, we're right now, we're streaming to about 5 or 6 different platforms, but our main platform for us is StreamYard. It could be for other folks. It could be Odyssey. It could be a garage band. It could be other things that you use, but you want to make sure that you have headphones. Coach has his headphones on. You want to make sure you have a microphone. You have your mic too, right, Coach?
Oh yeah, and I'm telling you guys, trust
Hmm.
me. Val wore me out about that because I did the whole first year off my phone. And what was happening, and if I can give you guys some tidbits that she's telling you what you need, I'm just gonna give you because I'm the one that was feeling it. Um,
Hmm.
we always talk behind the stage when we get out the show, but you know, the phone was overheating at sometimes. Val didn't tell you that. And
Yeah.
not the fact of the matter that it was an old phone. I got a brand new phone, but it was that because I had done so many shows and the shows started to stack up on my phone. So it started overheating. Val, like, well, you got to get off that phone. We got to go get, I don't care. We got to go get you a mic. I don't care what we got. So I was laughing. So I ended up eventually getting a computer and that worked out. But I'm going to tell you guys, to me, one of the most important things that you have to do, and I've been able to learn it on my own, has been able to be positive, and I actually been able to give Val some feedback that we're doing on interludes is helping out. But you have to have an avenue if you're going to have guests. So if you're never going to have guests, don't worry about this. If you're just going to get on and talk about how to design a dress or how to make shoes or whatever you're going to do, it's on you. But if you're going to have a guest, and I've done a hell of a good job of doing that, and Val always asks me, how are you getting people to do X, Y, and Z? And I tell people, I am a huge LinkedIn. I got like 20,000 folks on LinkedIn. And I didn't realize it until me and Val started to get together that I started to tap back into those people. Tap back into
Hmm.
as you always say, tap back to your sources. So what I started to do was I was tap back into my LinkedIn people. I would look at them depending on what they were doing, what they were all about, congratulate them on one thing or two things, whether it be a promotion, becoming a new coach, assistant coach, head coach, a camp, whatever they were doing. And then I started to say, hey, man, I got a podcast, man. We need to bring you on this show and talk about what you were doing. Because I originally told Val when I put the podcast together, it wasn't so much of trying to go out and get the Michael Jordans of the world, but it was kind of trying to find the diamonds of the roughs of the world. And then when me and Val figured that piece out and I started to bring those diamonds on, everything else started to snowball.
I love that. I love that. And I appreciate you. I appreciate you saying that as well. And so that's just a little bit of some of the things that Coach learned in in the heat of the fire of actually doing the podcast. But of course, we want to make sure that you guys go ahead and check out the article, which I am totally proud of. Coach, I'm sitting up here like, oh, okay, you guys wrote this up, and they were like, yeah, we of course we can write this up for you. So
Right.
it's kind of the six steps to get started. What you should know before you launch your podcast. And I just want to cover three. There's six of them, but definitely number one, you want to make sure that you have a concept development and define what your niche is going to be. Number two, you want branding and a look and a sound that stands out. You want it to be yours. You don't want to copy off of anybody. And number three, do a tech setup and get the right tools. It's very easy to make sure that you do that. And if you want more information regarding how to set up your podcast, please visit purelighthouse.media.com, and under blog, you can see it. It's right there in the dead center. The Ultimate Podcast Pre-Launch Launch Checklist for Beginners. And then, of course, if you want to set up time with me, also go to purelighthouse.media.com. Oh my gosh. So I figured I would just go ahead and do that. And who's saying this? Someone's mentioned that they're a podcast producer as well. Thank you. Appreciate you as well.
There you go. I need to have you on my podcast, Val Johnson. There you go, Val. You better jump up. Man, what about Coach Tony? I can't get up on the podcast. Oh man, I can't even pull up on you. Man. All right. Hey.
Oh my gosh. Well, the main topic we're getting ready to tackle, we'll do it right after this. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Hey, I'm Coach Tony, and this is the Pull Up Podcast Show. For every Monday, we break down the game quarter by quarter and give you information as well as break down the coach. Join us on the Pull Up Podcast Show.
Pull up. It's the Pull Up Podcast. It's the Pull Up Podcast. It's the Pull Up Podcast. Pull up. Bounce the voice and Coach Tony, you know. It's the Pull Up Podcast show. I said bounce the voice and Coach Tony, you know. It's the Pull Up Podcast show.
All right. I like that. That was a theme. There you go.
That was the thing. And y'all better check it out because my nephew bumping that. And by the way, real quickly to plug him, he made the rap contest battle in Atlanta. Will be in Piedmont Park, October 25th and 26th. There's going to be a slew of people from there. T.I., Andre 3000 and the boys, big boy them in the house, all the Atlanta folks in the house. So if you guys are in the Atlanta area right before Halloween, pull up in Piedmont Park, check out the R&B rap festival in Piedmont Park.
There you go. That's what's up. That's what's happening. Oh my goodness. Well, time to talk about Diddy.
Did he do it? Did he do it? Won't he did it? Did he do it?
We were so caught up in our celebration for our homecoming regarding North Central College. The verdict, the sentencing happened, I want to say at the very beginning of October, on October 3rd.
Yep.
Coach, I was sitting there trying to figure out exactly how everything happened with Diddy, and we had been covering this for the last, I want to say, year. I think I regrettably was like, okay, Coach, you want to cover this? You were like,
you
yeah.
told me, no. I said to you, I said, Val, we got to cover it. You like, no, I ain't about to get all up in that. We ain't about to do all that up in this podcast. Like, Val, we got to cover it. And that was actually when we did, it was one of the best shows we had at the time.
Yeah. And we ended up naming it, we need to talk about Diddy. And I was thinking, I don't want to talk about it because I'm still, I guess, a little upset that all of these things happen. But let me state some facts according to CNN news.com, also NBC News. What we know, a judge sentenced Sean Diddy Combs to 50 months in prison. That's a little over 4 years, right?
That's correct.
Little over 4 years, and they fined him to $500,000 and ordered 5 years of supervised release.
Yep.
He actually addressed the judge and begged for mercy and called himself. He apologized for the actions. He said they were sick.
Judge like,
and what happened?
Judge like, nah, because his kids spoke, and they looked at his kids, and the judge said, "Those kids right there is who you need to, be apologizing to."
Yeah, prosecutors had pushed for more than 11 years, and while the defense sought only 14 months, which would have equaled time served, because I forgot Diddy was in there for about a little over a year. He's been in custody since September 2024, and he will receive credit for over a year already served. And they said a jury back in July, I forgot this happened all the way back in July. They acquitted him of the racketeering and sex trafficking charges on July 2nd, but convicted him on 2 lesser accounts of transporting former girlfriends for prostitution.
And
So
by the way, guys, he didn't get that credit. That was one of the things the judge threw out. The judge said he didn't want to give him the credit for time served. That's why he got the 48 or the 50 months.
Yeah. That was the thing that was mentioned. But the real question is, do you think he beat the system? Because people were saying if the racketeering charges had gone through, it would have been over 20 years. It would have been more time.
Like a mob, you're looking like a mob boss at that time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm just wondering if that would have happened. So I'm just thinking it would be interesting if we, as the listening public who's enjoyed his music for decades, and then all of a sudden, or not all of a sudden, but many of us find out that he's been doing all these things behind the scenes. And I think the most telling was that video of him with him and Cassie, and him going after her.
Video Cassie, he walks.
What happened?
If that video of him and kicking Cassie is not available, then he walks free.
Yeah, because I think the sex trafficking didn't go through.
Nope.
And I feel like it didn't go through because they kept saying, and I remember when I was listening to some parts of the testimony and reading some of the reports, they said a lot of this was consensual. And I'm thinking,
yeah, too many people. Yeah, it was. I mean, too many people. To add on to what you just said, of he beat it. The real question that I had written down earlier was 50 months an appropriate sentence, given the nature of the crime and the acquittals? To me, and don't hate me, don't love me, and all that, because I'm a big Kels fan, and I don't think that R. Kelly did nowhere near close to what Diddy had done. People died with the Diddy situation. Hey, say what you want, the beating people, this and that. It is what it is, and I get it. I get it. R. Kelly was up at school, sitting in gyms doing this and that, but for what they took R. Kelly through and what he's still going through, and then Diddy gets off this, one, to me, is balance of power and money, and who you got. Because I think a few people behind the scene, 47, Epstein's, few other people that was at these Diddy parties, Oprah Winfrey, Tyler Perry's, and I can go on and on and on and on. That was there, T.D. Jakes and a few more, Kirk Franklin, you name it, and including the mayor of New York, gave him the key to the city, to New York. I think that Diddy had so much that if he went down, the backlash was going to be ridiculous. The backlash was going to be insane. So I think that sometimes when you are the right person, even though you're the wrong one, but sometimes when you're the right person, some people can spit that bird in other people's ear like, look, We get it. He understands. Smack him, give him what he's got to get, put him on the low end so he can get in and get out. And then he learned his lesson. Now, this come back around again, do what you got to do. Because I truly think, Val, everybody that was against him, oh, he going to come get him. Everybody that was talking about, oh, he did this, and that, is once it's on, it's going to be on and popping. But the one thing he did not evade the possibility of getting sued on the civil side of the house. That's one piece he did not get an opportunity to evade. But no one stepped up with a civil lawsuit yet because Cassie got her money. But I haven't seen too many people step up on that side of the house.
Yeah. And I feel like it's a little disturbing. And the question I asked, and I did the poll, but enough votes didn't come through for me to really judge that. I said, as professionals who work in media, entertainment, and culture, I'm curious, how do you view this sentencing? And I kind of gave the choices too light, the accountability should reflect the full impact, or was it fair? The sentence fits the specific charges, or was it incomplete? Without additional charges, justice feels unfinished or complex. We still don't know enough to decide. I feel like we weren't the people that were a part of the jury, but I guess if I was on the jury, I'm wondering. What was that?
I'm totally opposite than that.
What do you think?
I'm totally opposite for the one reason. I gotta love his defense attorney. Shit, the hell with it. Forget everything else. I mean,
Okay.
You had a job as a prosecutor to do all this. You had all this evidence. You started with Cassie and the whole nine. Man, I give it up. High five. The defense attorney. Man, they went to work. The defense attorneys, man, excluded, hey, because watching sex is not a crime. So that was the one big thing that the defense attorney kept pushing. Hey, he was in his room. Yeah, he did wrong. He brought these people, blah, 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 blah. But he sat in the corner. Pretty much every person that went on the stand never got to the point that he engaged. He sat in the corner like a freak, watching whatever. That's why these free calls became. But he was a watcher. And so there's no legal law in America that say you cannot physically watch. He didn't touch. He just watched. Now,
Well,
was it bad? Yeah. But it's not a crime. It's not in the laws of the American Constitution. It's not a law against him sitting in the corner watching. And he knew at that point, the defense attorney had it, and he knew that these people didn't have anything because as they continue to go on the stands, and they never talked about him engaging, he knew he had it.
yeah, and this is where I'm at with it all. I feel like, and you mentioned a lot of celebrities recently that were at the parties. And here's the thing: people would sometimes say, "Well, I wasn't there for all of that. I left before all the crazy happened." But it was. I don't know if you remember. There was a time when it was a big deal if you were invited to go to the all-white party in Long Island. This was a big deal. And being around wealthy people, you're trying to make connections. And I always say this, the number one reason I felt like Cassie stayed with him for however long she stayed with him, she wanted to have a music career because Diddy had this, I want to call it proof of working with people and them blowing up. But what we didn't know is that he owned all of their publishing and didn't let them have it, because I think he released their publishing. I think he released their publishing maybe about a 6 months to a year before he got thrown in jail.
Correct, because they weren't smart. Even the situation I just heard on the documentary about the Biggie situation, right? You know, the night that Tupac got shot and they were all upstairs, and Biggie and Mace and everybody they were in Lil C's and all of them was upstairs. Even it showed on the movie. Diddy had no idea that Biggie was upstairs because Diddy had invited Pac to the studio with him and Lil C's and was working on some stuff because Biggie was ready to leave. Biggie was ready to work on his own production, come and do his own thing. And Diddy was like, nah, you ain't about to get out of here. You ain't about to do that. So when you fast forward and go back to what you just talked about with Cassie, what hurt her on this situation? Yeah, the situation with the video got kicked. He paid the hotel dude $50,000 to compress it. Told him to keep the video for 7 years because he knew at 7 years it was out of jurisdiction. At that point, you couldn't go back and do anything. So keep it for 7 years. Here's 50 stacks. Right after 7 years, my man happened to release it, and that's how it all got tarnished. Even though they couldn't go back on that, it tarnished what he was doing. But the problem after all that, when they got Cash on the stand, is she still came back. She still wanted more. She still was trying to be with the Diddy. She still was trying to be with the label. She still was trying to go to these parties and still have that career. So like, if you did all this to me and you did all this and blah, 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 and you still want to come back, then sounds like you may have been okay with this. Sound like you may have been cool with this. And the defense attorney was able to make and show that.
Yeah, and I think that when you are, and I discussed this with a good friend of mine out of New York. She is a counselor. And when you're in situations like that, where there's someone in power, it's just like when you're sexually harassed at work, and that person has the power to fire you, hire you, and all the rest of that type of stuff.
Right.
If you're drugged and if you are in a headspace where things are disheveled, and if you have I don't know what her home life was. I don't know if she had a home mom or dad. I don't know anything about Cassie's background at all. So I don't know what she might have been leaving. But what has happened with a lot of victims is that they run away from home, or something else is happening with them, and the people in power take advantage. And when you are conditioned to think that this type of life is normal, of course you're going to go back to what you've been conditioned to think. And I think when people don't understand what the victim has gone through, you can easily say, well, she just kept going back. Well, she was wrong. If everything was horrible to her, why did she keep going back? Because as a victim, you're conditioned to think or to feel and to be in and to serve the power of the person that's saying, look, I'm gonna make you a star, but you got to do this, this, and this. And and you can't have, shopping sprees or whatever Diddy promised her or anybody else, because he kept trying to take other people on shopping sprees, and people were like,
try to take a couple. They're like, man, I don't even get down like that. I don't get down like that.
Yeah, I don't know what any of that was about, but it hurts because now that I hear music, Coach, and all of us, some of us loved a lot of the music from the mid 1990s and in the early 2000s. Anytime he said, take that, or bad boy, come on. When I hear that being whispered in the music now, it makes me tilt my head and go, what was he thinking when he said that? And I hate that.
I told you some of the tracks. I can't even repeat them on what they were saying and what they did. You know what I'm saying? Just go back and listen. You don't listen to Diddy. Don't listen to him. Go back and listen to the Biggie. Go back and lyrics. Go back and listen to the Unbelievable album. Go back and listen to that. About 3 or 4 tracks. It'll tell you what they were doing. But here's a big question for you.
Okay.
Does celebrity status influence prosecution and defense attorneys when we get to these particular things? Because let's take Diddy off the Mount Rushmore. Okay.
All right. Okay. He's off. He's gone.
Let's make him a Kurt Franklin. Let's make him a Teddy Riley. Let's make him a 50 Cent, right? 50 had that status. Does this play out the same way? Do they get convicted because they don't have that take that status? Because Diddy, you can say what you want. Diddy was like a black mafia.
Well, hmm.
And if you go back and
Here's
listen to Mace, right?
yeah. Well,
Go,
and
go listen to Mace. If you pull up Mace on YouTube and listen to that Mace situation, he talked about after that first album why he walked away. Man, it'll blow your mind.
and I remember reading and hearing some of those interviews that Mace did, and the scary thing is, I think he's the one that kind of exposed
Yeah,
that a lot of the artists did not own their own. They
correct.
either didn't own their masters or they didn't own their publishing, and that's very disturbing because I'm thinking these are the folks that are out there recording.
Right.
Why are you taking away their right to make money past the time? Because I don't think recording artists think past, I just want to get out there and I want people to hear my voice and I want to,
Sure.
sing to the masses. You don't want to get out there and you just want to have fun. But
Exactly.
then, are you going to be doing those same steps?
But along those lines that you're talking about, you know which one was most disturbing to me along the same lines you're talking about?
Who? What?
Usher talked about how Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis, right, had it as an 11, 12, 13-year-old guy coming out of chat. Mom didn't have that much money. Old man wasn't around, just him and his mom's. And he remembered going to Minnesota, did some stuff with Prince, did some stuff with them, but ended up with Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis. They told him that you need to spend 90 days in the Diddy camp. 90 days. And after 90 days, if Diddy called us and gave you the 2 thumbs up, you ready to roll. He was 14, 15 years old. He's seen stuff a 14, 15-year-old kid should have never seen in his life, ever.
Yeah.
To him, to other people, the whole 9 yards. So again, do I think justice was served? No, because I don't think that the justice looked at the whole thing. Do I think Diddy had a lot of the people in his pocket that if this shit would have went the wrong way, like I say, went left at the curb, that they was going to bring down some folks, they're going to bring down some DC people. He's going to bring down some people in TV land type people, right? He's going to bring them down. So it wasn't like this dude was, when you got people of the Epsteins at your party, which we know he isn't here no more, right? We know you got the people of California, London, England type folks at your party. Man, come on now. And it wasn't just the normal part. And then you got what's old boy named, the police officer that did all the background. They ended up turning an informant. He had his interview when he just talked about, how many times while he was his security, he had to just turn his head, pick up the people he need to pick up, turn his head. So to me, none of this. But again, I'm not trying to bring my boy in. You can't put Kels up the yard for this crazy crap. You let Diddy out in 48. You just can't.
Well,
now, with it the same? Nah. He ain't gonna come back off this the same way, Val. I don't. This fool was actually trying to get Madison Square Garden for a come out party.
Who is this?
Diddy, you didn't hear about that?
Yeah, no, I didn't hear about that. No,
he thought he was gonna get acquitted, so he was trying to plan a party in Madison Square Garden. So I guess he got away for 8 months to do that, huh?
No, he should. I feel like this. They should have sentenced him for more time. I hate that I know what I know on what I've been told. There have been slews of podcasts. Some of the things you've mentioned, a lot of the things I'm not mentioning because I can't confirm or deny. It's a matter of all that. But all the horrible things that came out in the court case, it's really a shame because it now, in my mind, damages the credibility of the music. I'm trying to make sure that I kind of separate it a little bit because he literally worked with just about any and everybody in R&B and pop during the mid 1990s to the mid 2000s. That was kind of Diddy's era, and I feel horrible for the victims, and I feel horrible for the people that we don't know that he completely victimized, because the music world is dark, and I hate that it's like that. I hate that it's a type of satanic darkness that's in music that has been going on for decades, even well before Diddy. It was happening in the 50s and the 60s. So it literally
he had the money. That's the only difference. So let me ask you a question then. So someone send me this question, say, Val, if that's the case, based on your response, what does this case mean for how the music industry and celebrity culture respond to accusations of abuse in the future? Do they simply leave it alone where it's at, or do they simply bring it to the forefront, especially if they see that the accuser may or may not go to jail?
That's a good question. Here's the thing. Victims haven't come out, especially if there's someone in power abusing them. And there was this rise in the Me Too movement in the late 2010s. But I feel, I feel like we have to make sure that we give a voice to the voiceless. And when people come out and accuse, we listen to them and then see if it's credible. Because there's some people that have lied on folks and said that, okay, this person, molested me or this happened or whatever. And come to find out what they said wasn't true, because they're trying to get back at them for something.
That's why you got to take the Cardi B approach.
I don't know about the Cardi B approach. What was the Cardi B approach?
Cardi B said, hey, listen, I went to court. You lied on me. I know I didn't do it, period. But you're trying to extort me for money. So the next person who takes me to court, I'm going to sue back. And I'm going to sue you for everything you got, including if you don't even have it, down to your grandkids, even if you haven't had it. So now, in the future, you need to think about, do I want to take this case to court? If it's truthful, shit, let's go. We can handle this like Mike Tyson and Muhammad Ali. If it's a lie, then I may want to chill and sit on my laurels and be like, because you just mentioned about if these stars, especially, it's really only happening to who, Val? The people who are what? Up and coming. Because when you're already there, I don't need your help. I got loot, whether I make another album or not. Shit, matter of fact, I can go independent. But But if I don't have the ability to go independent, or if I don't have the, as we say, of course, me and you being a DJ, we know it's totally different because everything is based on streaming now, right? And I was listening to you need 15,000 streams on one song just to make $1. It's crazy.
It is that
$1. Whereas in back in the day, we bought the album. Shit, you may have got 10, 12 cuts on the album for $9.99, $10. And then based on the album sales, the artist went through the roof, right? So we don't have that. So if you're going to look at it as this situation, I look at it as twofold. On the left-hand side, with these stars that are close to being Diddy status, it tells me I'm untouchable. All I need to have is money and the right people in my pocket, right? Because if I got money and I got the right people in my pocket, I don't give a damn. I do what I want. But on the other hand, you have these artists that says, I'm just starting out. I got called over to such and such house at 1 o'clock in the morning to record a track. And they told me to bring my pajamas, go ahead and spend the night. We're going to work all night.
No.
So do I go spit this track, spend the night, or do I not spend this track, and then possibly my career may or may not be over? So that's what these young people are fighting right now, Val, and going through things. And again, what I would like to see This is just from
What
Coach
would
Tony.
you like to see? Okay.
I would love to see Diddy make a statement. I would love to see him sit in his cell, take the time, think about the atrocities, make a statement with the apologies to Cassie and whomever, and physically talk about over the next 48 months, here's what I'm going to do to reinvent myself, right? And when I come out in 2029, 2030, here's the new Diddy that you're going to see. Family man, my grandbabies, my children, my this, my that. You know, because I think, I'm not going to put anything out there because I've heard a few, but there's a few artists right now that are out there. And you know, Val, at one particular point, it didn't happen to the music industry, but it happened in the sports industry where orange was the new blue, right? We saw, we had plenty of our athletes getting locked up, plenty. So is that going to then trickle over to the music industry? Because, Chicago had that drill music with Dirk and Vaughn and all them, unfortunately got killed and this and that. And they kind of calmed that down a little bit and see what's going on. But I think the thing that's with this is that bad boy entertainment would never be the bad boy entertainment in the future as we knew in the past. I just don't think so. And the one person who I really think that could put a big dent in his brand is Mary J. Blige. But Mary said, I'm out of it. I'm not getting in none of it. Because Mary was on that wild side, drugs, all that when she first came out that 411 album till she calmed down, and she's got a very big, deep story about how all that happened.
Yeah, and like I said, there's a lot of people that he worked with that touched all across music and even film, all of these things. Like, he is one of the biggest entertainers that's in the entertainment industry. But using your power to watch or whatever, you've dangled the carrot of, if you want a record deal, if you want to be in this industry, you have to do ABC.
Right.
And I was thinking, can that type of culture change? Because I don't know how often it's happened. It's like that on the film side of things. It's like that in other areas.
Yep.
In corporate, people sleep around so they could.
That remind me of, Al?
Go up the ladder or something, and then it's like, why are we continuing to? Why are men using their power, or women? It could be women. They're using their power to oppress, to stress, and then to just be abusive, and that's just not good.
Right.
That's just not good. What were you gonna say? I'm sorry.
It reminds me of so much, and you just kind of hit a special bone, because I know you're not, and I am. I'm Greek, and it reminded me of when, as I was pledging, we talked about this recently, right? About the situation happened in '89 where we had a national moratorium, a blackout year, because a Alpha, a Q, and a Kappa all were killed in the same semester from pledging. It reminds me of the Divine Nine, were the chapters created back when they were in 1906, 08, 2011, 1911, 12, so forth and so on. Were they created when they were upon taking a paddle or wood and beating somebody down, or maybe getting a group of guys in a room and beating them with their fists, or some of the white fraternities that was, they didn't believe in hazing like the black fraternity, but they believe in drinking. So they would damn near have a person get a blood intoxication of 5 times their body and kill them because they drink too much. No. It's called stupidity. And what happens, Val, you just hit it on the head. When it happens to Val, the question is Val, what's her want back? Not what's her comeback, but what's her want back? In other words, the person that you about to pull up the ladder, do you want to do the same thing that was done to you? What's your want back, right? Because I know when I pledged, we went through hell that year because of the moratorium, and then we had to come back up. Then I had to go underground, learn what underground was. Had no idea what it was. So I basically pledged twice. I got 2 sets of frat brothers. One, what we call up top on the ship, Val, and I got another set of 5 brothers that's down low, Captain Ship Destiny 5 and my boys, because we thought we were going to be the only 5 people that make it out of that whole group that we was up top with, because we went underground because it was no more pledging. But us 5 dummies decided we're going to continue to pledge. We're going to go underground, right? So it wasn't Val made me go underground, right? I had to make that decision. The whole chapter didn't go underground. Just 5 of us did, right? So if you're looking at what you just mentioned a moment ago, it comes to how bad, Val, do you want to be a star? And some of these people, I think they look at it as, okay, $1 million, a few $1 million, $5 million, $10 million, maybe $100 million for maybe one night of sleeping over here and doing this and that. Let me calculate. Give up this for one night and a couple hours. He may be about 15 minutes long. Let me think that. Okay. But a few million, pay them. And all of a sudden, they walk into a situation, Val, that many of them can't get out. And it ain't the fact of the matter that they were forced into it. I think a lot of these people that's got the money and the power, they're so slick the way they do it. The way they put the question for you is in a way that you almost can't say no. Hey, I need you to come do X, Y, Z. And oh, by the way, there's a suitcase waiting on you with a contract in it. Or
you can always say no. I'm gonna push back hard and always say no. And then I'm gonna go back to you pledging. You made the choice to pledge, and I think you said that you made the you made the choice to pledge. Mm-hmm. If people are making the decision to be in the music industry, they should not be subjected to the whims, the weird sexual whims of someone that says, I'm going to use this to entice you or keep you down because I know you want a record deal or I know you want this or whatever. And the person could have the choice to walk away. Sure. But if they say, I don't have a lot, if I'm coming from poverty, a lot of people come from poverty, or a lot of people come from a lack, or they grew up in the projects, or they grew up on the rough side of the city or whatever. And they're like, I want to make it. And when you sell your soul to that type of devil, they can pretty much twist and whatever was an innocent, I just want to be a singer, or I just want to be a rapper, I just want to get my music out there, and it gets twisted in that, as I say, the dark world of music, of all of that. It's not good. You pledging, your choice. That's your choice, man. That is your choice to pledge. For me, pledging was not for me, because if any girl hit me, it was gonna be on and cracking. So it was not going. I was not putting. I don't know if the girls hit each other. I don't know if they did what the guys did with pledging, but that's a choice. But you being a person wanting to sing and perform, and the innocence of that. Aaliyah, I remember Aaliyah. She went out for Star Search, and I don't think she won, but her uncle knew was the manager for R. Kelly, and he says, you know what? I want her to record a record. Mm-hmm. Let me get you. You're good with getting music together. Let me get you two together, and you record this music. I'm putting my niece in your care, but I don't want my niece to be sleeping with you, and you got a whole 11 or 12 years older than her. You're supposed to be producing this music and keep your hands off.
Yeah, but I don't think it's that way, Val. I love your perspective on that, but I don't think it's coming that way. I think it's coming completely in reverse. I think, and here's the only reason why I say that, because I've sat in the studio plenty of nights with my nephew. You know what I'm saying? I've sat in. I've sat in the studio playing the night with him. I got my daughter's boyfriend is a big producer. He's right now producing the whole thing for Lil Bootsy and all of them. I think these young guys, they sit there, Val, and they're not going to change what they do. So you walk in this room, you're just this innocent angel, but you have no idea that he's got, like you just said a moment ago, a street rapper from the hood. He got another dude that's already been from the hood, but kind of like he's softer now because he's got some money on it. And then you sit in that chair over there, you waiting your turn, and they light up and start smoking whatever they smoking, and all of a sudden you're in this room, and then this and that. And I don't think they ever come to you. I don't think they ever tell you you need to do X, Y, Z. I think that you sit there, and then all of a sudden you're in that room and everything's going on, and all of a sudden, bam, you figure, oh, this is pretty cool, this and that. And then you kind of like put yourself in the room, put yourself in the like, hey, I'm a cool person, I'm hanging out, I'm doing this and that. And I think that's it. I'm not sure how it goes because I've never been there. But like you said, you always got that opportunity to say, no, I'm out, I'm bouncing. But then you also got to understand that you putting your part of your career, at least with that particular producer, on the line. And depending on who it is, like a Diddy, as they said, May said in his interview, that's why I said you got to listen to him. When you told Diddy no, sometime Val, he held the key to RCA, Jimmy Jam, Terry Lewis, and these other folks, because at this time, all these accusations wasn't out. Like you said, the white party, Val, right? Everybody wanted to be at the white party in the Hamptons. Everybody wanted to be at it. So if Diddy calls and say, hey, man, lose Val's number. She's nothing but trouble. Unless you knew somebody that could get you here to get you there, Val, thanks for playing because your career is done. And I think a lot of these people put on their line and in their mental mindset and said, okay, all right, can I deal with a little bit of this to get a lot of bit of that? And I think that was the thin line, as my boy Mark Lawrence say, the thin line between love and hate.
No, well. All right, 50 months. It'd be nice for him to apologize, but be that as it may, we're gonna keep it moving. But anyway, Diane Keaton, unfortunately, over the weekend, left us. She was 79 years young. Good gracious, Godfather 1 and 2.
Yes,
Baby Boom, First Wives Club. I have so many favorite films that she's been in, and I've just been a fan. Something's Got to Give.
Something's got to give. Yes.
Jack Nicholson, too funny. But yeah, so she unfortunately passed over the weekend. So I was just kind of sad. I was like, no. But did you know she dated Al Pacino for a long time? They both were in The Godfather.
Yeah, I knew that. Yeah, they dated right after that. Yes, they dated right after that. A matter of fact, my boy Al Pacino and Robert De Niro, they used to go out on a lot of dates together because, De Niro was married to a black woman for many years, like 20, 25 years. And they would always go to dinner and stuff together, and that was always well known.
Yeah, I did not know that. And so she kind of gave him an ultimatum and said that, hey, if we don't get married, I'm out. So she's out. So she left. I'm out.
And Patino was like, peace. And Patino like, I'm the man. Nobody care about you being out. Go on.
So yeah, but she Father of the Bride, I forgot about that too. And then
man, with Steve Martin, that was hilarious.
Steve Martin, yeah, that was a really good one.
Queen Latifah was in there. That was hilarious.
No, I don't think Queen Latifah was in Father of the Bride. That was 91. But then there was the most famous one. I think she won the Oscar for was Annie Hall.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So. Yeah, so just really a good time. Circling back, you guys check out purelightHousemedia.com and get the ultimate podcast pre-launch checklist for beginners. Check out that blog. I'm just really excited about everything that's happening. And of course, next week, the Pull Up Podcast show is back. Woohoo!
Just continue to grind along. We're about to come up within the next week or two. So y'all keep focused on us, because we're going to bring those choir guys from America's Got Talent, 79th Street, Leo High School. I'm looking forward to it. Keep you guys posted as to when they're coming on the show. But man, most importantly, I appreciate everyone to continue to give the Pull Up Podcast the love that we got. I appreciate you.
That's what I'm talking about. And of course, a DJ saved my life. How music gave me a purpose and a voice. It's a personal memoir. Go to purelightHousemedia.com/shop. You go ahead and get the printed copy of the book right now. You can get it right now.
Don't hesitate. Don't be late. Get it today. You know what I mean?
Today. And go to patreon.com/interludes if you want to see some behind the scenes. And of course, you know what? I've been working on some courses to put up there too, to talk about exactly all the things that we do. And then of course, Coach Tony, the Pull Up Podcast show, is on IG. Make sure that you scan the QR code and follow him today.
I got a lot of people, especially from homecoming. I got so many people that pulled up on me and connected with me on IG. Man, I appreciate it. We just continue to just keep on building this. And if you have an important story to talk about, or you know someone with an important story to talk about that need to be with me, then hit me on DM. You can hit me on X at Chillman7. That's 3 L's, and that's CHILLLMAN7, or as Val mentioned, on the gram at the Pull Up Podcast show, so we can get you on the show and we can talk about it.
I like how you think about that. I like how you do that. Oh my gosh. Well, thank you so much, Coach, for having this conversation. Because I said,
it is great to have a female perspective, male perspective, but sensible. You know what I mean? And everyone does not, and it's one of those things, Val, that we always say as an adult. We can always agree to disagree. You know what I mean? And be respected. I think, to me, that's what's lost in DC right now. That's what's lost in the House, and that's what's lost in what's going on. They don't have the ability to run the country and to disagree, but agree on the things that's important to Americans the way we are. They're self-centered in so many ways and think about themselves on so many terms. But at the end of the day, when we get hurt, they still get paid. So, we got to make sure that we keep doing what we're doing. And we got to keep the platform going right here, Val. We see something, we got to talk about it. We see an issue, we got to talk about it.
Yeah, so if you see something, say something. And I'm going to say this. I'm going to say this. Peace. See you guys next week.